Malta, the smallest country of the European Union in the middle of the Mediterranean. Is it any good to start a business there? Let's talk about it now! Hi, I'm Oliver and welcome back to the channel AskMeStartup, where we talk about startups, small businesses and the world that surrounds them. If you're new here, please consider subscribing and pushing the notification bell so YouTube lets you know whenever I'm uploading new content. If you're into business, if you have a small startup, if you have a small business, please feel free to download a free startup checklist, link in the description below. Okay, today's topic, Malta. Is it any good to start your business there? So as always in this series, we like to take a look at the facts about the country first. Malta being an island in the middle of the Mediterranean, even further south than Sicily, meaning that it is isolated from its European neighbors. Now, the capital is Valletta, which is also the largest city in the country. There are roughly 520,000 people living there, and the GDP per capita is, according to the latest data from OECD, $28,000 US, which is the lowest we have ever measured in this series. Now that already gives you an indication that there isn't much going on in terms of industry because, it's a small island. You will have difficulties manufacturing stuff there and to get it around the world. And B, obviously wages and cost of living are, let's say, okayish, but still expensive in one way because everything has to be imported to the country and nothing much is growing there. So if you want to start a business in a country, we would like to understand how entrepreneurial is the population. Now, the Maltese themselves actually are not that entrepreneurial at all. They actually have a below average value of solopreneurs and entrepreneurs in the country, and even worse, have lower education on the entrepreneurial level than its peers in the European Union. Then we have to take a look at the legal practices. And we can say, yes, it has a very good legal framework. It is among the standards that you would expect from a European country. It has a government that is working properly. Nonetheless, the governmental practices are not very transparent and they tend to get worse because according to Transparency International, since 2012, Malta is decreasing its rank in the corruption index and is now just ranking on 50 of 180 countries that they measure. That already tells you that this is the lowest so far we have been looking at in this series, meaning that there is a serious threat to your business if you don't have the right financial means, most likely. Then we also have to take a look at the startup infrastructure. And there has been a report from the OECD about Malta, and they have measured that there has been an increase in startup infrastructure and in startups that have taken off in Malta from 2008 till 2018. Nonetheless, the total amount is still below average, and the governmental support and funds are not there. And it is very difficult to get human capital, financial capital, and the ideas ready to go off in Malta. So I would say that the government still hasn't realized that startups are the future, that they are essential. And from my point of view, a country that is in the middle of the ocean would attract a lot of startups that are working on the sustainability of the future and also trying to clean up the oceans, for instance, and make a business out of this. Not in Malta, obviously. So if we look at Malta, what type of companies are there now? And due to its very isolated nation, this island actually attracts, of course, a lot of financial industry because that's easy to export. Trade has been there, some tourism, and as of lately, cryptocurrencies. Mainly one big company, the largest cryptocurrency trading platform, Binance, has opened its offices in Malta. That has to do with some specialities about the Maltese residency permits. And as a matter of fact, Malta is one way to get a fast European passport by buying and spending roughly around, depending on the amount of people you actually want to bring to Malta, between 500,000 and 1 million euros. Now, the main factor that we have to take a look at is how transparent or how easy is it to get access to those visas? And then the next question would be, is there a startup visa? So the good answer is yes, there is. The bad answer is it's not quite clear how it's actually going to be executed. So if you look at the governmental website, they actually quite clearly indicate, yes, you're welcome to come as an entrepreneur, or there are clear ways how you can have a residency within Malta. They actually describe the two residence permits that they have, the ordinary and the permanent one. One being for the EU nationalities and the other one being for the rest of the world. But it is not quite clear what are the requirements that you have to meet to be eligible for these permits. I tried to look at this very hard. I did a long research on the web, and it's never clear. There's no clear indication. They don't give you a guideline that's properly. The only thing that happens is you will find a ton of agencies that actually are helping you to go through that jungle. What does it tell you? It tells you that there's a reason why the transparency index is decreasing, why corruption is increasing, because why on earth would a government insist to have a private company to deal with all the permits and the applications? Quite clear. It is a business, and it is a business that people will have to do if they're interested to get a EU citizenship within Malta. Now, would I like to start a business in Malta? My clear answer is not on earth is this going to happen. Why? Very simple. I love the country. It's beautiful there. But you're too far off anywhere. You have to fly. You have to take airplanes, which is, of course, these days difficult. But let's assume everything would be easy. You still are far off everywhere else. B, if I'm already migrating to a country that has an increase in corruption, I am going to be sure that it's going to hit me in the future. Hence, I rather go where I'm more welcome, where it's easier to have the proper broad access to the European Union that I'm looking for and the rest of the world. All right, everybody. I hope this short video was helpful to you. If so, please drop a comment if you started a business in Malta, or if you have a business in Malta or a startup. Just smash the like button, please. Remember to subscribe if you made it so far in the video, and I'm gonna see you next time.